Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Chelsea are through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and today we're doing a collab with Eunice again. This is a Chelsea tier list for potential quarterfinal opponents. If you're enjoying the weekly collabs with Eunice, please hit the like button, subscribe to his channel, link down below. There's games tonight in the Champions League, there's games next week, and the draw is next Friday. But this is what we think of Chelsea's potential opponents to win the Champions League again. Alright, here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. It is tier list time. It is Big Eunice Talks football time, mate. Give me a lowdown on how you're feeling today, because I don't know about you, but I've got more energy today than I think in the last 127 days combined, to be honest.
127? Is there a
I don't know where that number came from, but I plucked it from my scalp.
Fair play. For me, 128. No, I'm loving it, man. Woke up this morning and thought, hey, we won. We're through to the quarterfinal. We actually won a tie and we scored 2 goals. First time since December. Overall, very, very happy. Very positive now. It's a step in the right direction. We can't get too carried away, but we've got to embrace the moment because it was a hallmark victory.
It was. I think this is probably the biggest moment of not only Graham Potter's career,
100%.
but in terms of you and I, who the last couple of times we've been on the old calls together and making the videos together, we've been pretty clear that we were not believing that it was even possible. But now we're in a scenario where not only is the bloody tier list back, but we have got dream quarterfinal draws, winnable quarterfinal draws, unlikely quarterfinal draws, and draws that we really don't want to have. The draw is on the 17th of March, but Chelsea, at the point of recording this on Wednesday, with Bayern, PSG and Spurs AC Milan tonight, we have got a plethora of Europe's finest that we could potentially face. Benfica, the only team who have also joined us, so I guess we should start with Benfica, and I'm going to ask you straight off the cuff. In terms of dream draw, winnable, unlikely, or avoid, it can't be unlikely because they're already through.
Yeah.
Would you like to play Benfica in the quarterfinals of the Champions League?
On paper, yes, but man, they're a different Benfica. Oh, the only thing is that we got Enzo, but they're a different Benfica, man. I see Benfica and I think quarterfinal 2012, Moreles scoring that winner at the bridge. And I'm like, we can have
there's so many reasons to make this like a draw that people kind of want, because it creates so many narratives, like the Felix Enzo derby, the Raul Moreles, but this Benfica, man, I was watching the highlights of their game against Club Brugge, because obviously I'd rather watch Chelsea Dortmund live, but they were just blistering.
They are.
They play such good football, and Ramos up front is a danger man.
Yeah, big time. Albeit Club Brugge, who've done brilliantly in the Champions League up until now, did have Scott Parker in charge. So
imagine.
I don't know if that's had an effect.
For Bournemouth, and then you end up managing a flipping last 16 Champions League. How has Scott Parker finessed this?
I have no idea. Well, he's out now, so back to the drawing board for him. But overall, is that a false incentive of what Benfica can actually do, or is that a reflection of what Benfica can actually just do to any team? So they're definitely more dangerous, although I wouldn't mind playing Benfica just for the narrative, and I think we'll be extra motivated in terms of Enzo, Rui Costa, everything. I think it's winnable.
Yeah, I think it's winnable. Okay, we'll put them in tier number 2. Bayern versus Paris Saint-Germain is obviously playing tonight, and when people watch this video, the result may already be decided. But I'll tell you what I've done with both of these two teams, and you may disagree, you may agree. I have put Paris Saint-Germain in winnable, because I really don't think they're that special, and there's no Neymar. And I've got Bayern in avoid, just because I think over 2 legs, they have still got such great players. But let me know what you think about these two.
Yeah, you got it spot on. I would have done the exact same thing. I have PSG in winnable. I'm not scared of PSG. Even Bayern Munich, I want to put in avoid, but we have to be realistic at this point in the competition. You just have to embrace whatever comes your way, because you got to beat the best to get to the promised land and to the Holy Grail and win it. But PSG are not scary, man. They're not. And yeah, Neymar's out. Got to try and deal with Mbappe and Messi, which obviously is a challenge. But if you can just try and nullify those two as much as you can, the rest of the team are very doable and beatable. So I would put PSG in winnable, and Bayern Munich are just Bayern Munich. I don't want to play them. Not yet.
Yeah, they're just a scary team, you know.
Yeah.
Even if they're not, maybe I think we've probably beaten better Bayern Munich teams before.
Oh yeah.
But I think overall, like the thing with this Chelsea side now is when we're talking about like what is a winnable draw, what's a favourable draw, what's the dream. I think the issue is, or it's not, it's an issue, and it could also not be an issue. Chelsea might go on a purple patch of form now, where we win a load of matches in a row. And then all of a sudden, we could play anybody, and maybe it's better to knock out one of the top teams in the quarterfinal. Or is it okay, we're still growing, we're still learning the Potter system, we're still only 2 wins in a row in 4 days after a horrible 4 months. Is it too soon to be wishing for a top team?
Yeah.
2 teams who I think we'll both agree also are not top teams, and I've got one of these in winnable and one of them in the dream draw. Which one do you think I've done between Spurs and AC Milan? One of them's dream, one of them's winnable. Which one have I put Spurs in?
You've put Spurs in dream, haven't you?
No, I haven't.
Have you
because
not?
It's not a dream. No, it's not. English clubs are not a dream, in my opinion. Look at the way that Spurs wiped us off the park the other week. Like, this is literally only 10 days ago now, and I know since then they've lost, I think, 2 games, Sheffield United and Wolves. But, like, do you really imagine if Chelsea don't start playing well and we end up drawing Spurs and they beat us?
But this is the thing. I agree to an extent. But on a Champions League night, it's different. The energy's different. And I think that's where Spurs might come short. Because where we do thrive under that energy and that pressure, just Champions League nights. I don't know what it is about Chelsea and Champions League nights, but last night was a reflection of that. When everyone rocks up and there's an atmosphere and there's an occasion and everyone's like, okay, we're going to go and do this. We just do it. I just don't know. Spurs don't have that. I don't think Spurs are capable of that. I think on a normal, ordinary match day, Premier League or whatnot, absolutely, especially when we're off form. But if we have confidence going into a game and we got to play Spurs on a Champions League night, I'm fairly confident.
So you think dream draw, both of them? Like, AC Milan we've already beaten twice, so surely we've got to, like, see AC Milan as a dream.
I would put.
And they've been so poor. They've been so poor this season.
They have. They're 5th in Serie A as well. They have. Yeah. In terms of who's left in the competition, I think it's only fair to put both. I put both in dream. I wouldn't mind Spurs.
Okay. No, I can agree with it. I can always agree with just getting excited about Chelsea Tottenham. I think it would be for me a dream to play Spurs in a semi-final, because I think by that point you get more of like the DNA of what a club actually is all about when you get to like the real latter rounds of the competition. True. And these guys just don't know what they're doing. They've mistakenly got themselves into the last 16, in my humble opinion. Porto versus Inter Milan. Now, when we look at the ordering of the fixtures here, so far, I'm looking at where we've put these clubs in the tier list. And I'm looking at the way that teams are playing one another. You've got Bayern and PSG, one of them's got to go. Liverpool, Real Madrid, one of them's got to go. Porto and Inter Milan, to me, once again, it just screams the dream.
It does, doesn't it? It does.
It does, both of them.
The one thing with Inter is that there's a slight narrative there, which kind of, could it be a good thing, could it be a bad thing? But yeah, overall, I think in terms of caliber, we would probably take playing one of those teams. 100%.
So would you put both in the dream as well?
No, I would put Inter in winnable, and I'd put Porto in dream.
I love how we're more confident of beating Spurs than Romelu Lukaku's Inter Milan.
No,
I love it.
Yeah, no, completely. And I think Inter do have a capability of causing an upset. Well, not necessarily an upset, but just getting a good result. They have good players. They have good individualities. It's just, and even in Serie A, they've not been shocking. It's just, Napoli are far ahead and Inter amongst the pack in order to try and fight for the top 4. But overall, there's the Lukaku situation. There is a narrative there, as I've said. But they are winnable. The dream is Porto, as far as I'm concerned, because they're already 1-0 down. They need to try and get a comeback against Inter Milan. If they were to do that, I think in terms of what Porto have as an 11 or as a squad, we should, if we can dispatch of Dortmund, we should be beating Porto. That's how I see it.
No, I agree with that. I think Dortmund are a better team. I'd argue even better than both. And that's another reason why last night's result was actually just so good, because this Dortmund team we're going into the game in the complete opposite frame of mind than Chelsea. We're obviously going to do another video on Eunice's channel where we delve into last night's game a bit more, less looking forward, more so enjoying and revelling in that win last night. But I think Chelsea going in, we're in such poor form. Even when you look at the performance against Leeds, yeah, it's 3 points, but everyone's beating Leeds at the moment. Dortmund had won like 11 matches in a row.
Yep.
They hadn't not won a match since the World Cup, which is an unbelievable record, and they're level on points with Bayern Munich, who we say we want to avoid in the Bundesliga this season. Absolutely insane. Man City versus Leipzig is the next game that we're going to take a look at here. To me, the team I want to avoid more than anyone else is Manchester City. Yeah. Not just because of Erling Haaland, but because for them, there is such an impetus to get one over Chelsea in this competition, let alone the fact that on any given day, City could beat any team in the world by 3 or 4 goals. And I just worry that if Chelsea play City and we're not 100% and they even have one game out of the 2 where they are 100%, we could get annihilated. But their game against Leipzig isn't over. It's 1-1 going to the Etihad, and this season they've struggled. What do you think's happening in that time? And where would you put both Leipzig and City?
I would put Leipzig in, I want to say winnable. Man City I'd put in a void. I don't want to play Man City now. And for the same reason that you've just put, they are Man City, right? They are strong. I even think to an extent, they kind of wouldn't want to play us, just from a psychological perspective. They see Chelsea in the Champions League, they go, bloody hell again. Like, there might be that. But Manchester City right now are in a frame of mind where they are where we were prior to 2012. They're obsessed, right? There's an obsession now of getting success in Europe, which they've not had yet in their whole history. They've come close and they've failed. Now, I think if they had to choose, the owners included, if they had to choose, would you win the Champions League or the Premier League? They'd say the Champions League for this season. Screw it. Give the Premier League to Arsenal this season. We'll go again next year. But the Champions League is the one thing that eludes them. And yeah, I think that is probably going to be an extra motivation. You don't want to play a team like that, as dangerous as that are that hungry. We've been there and we know what it's like. You can be quite ruthless. So Man City I want to avoid, but Leipzig I would say winnable. And it'd be nice to see Timo again.
It would be. I just don't see any world where Leipzig go to the Etihad and get a result in the second leg.
Yeah.
I just think it's so unlikely. I think, like you say, Man City, Pep Guardiola was already handing in his press conferences the title to Arsenal weeks ago, before Arsenal went on their little blip, before City, you know, they're still up and down. And I just think that what you said there about the obsession that City had, that we can relate to as Chelsea fans, because we were, prior to 2012, completely and utterly obsessed with this competition. We still are. Everyone should be.
Yeah.
But I just think there's no way that Leipzig get a result against City. I don't know. Like, I don't even...
I'd be shocked.
I put the unlikely category because I think there's just certain teams in the games that we've still got to talk about that there's just no way either of them can go through. But I actually, in my head, I had Leipzig as unlikely, but I can put them in winnable. What do you want to do?
No. To be honest, unlikely is more to it. I only say that because the tie's not dead. If they were 3 goals down, I'd put them in unlikely. But right now, who knows? Timo Werner scores 1 goal, they defend for 85 minutes, and they win 1-0. Who knows?
Imagine if it's Timo who scores the goal to knock out Manchester City, and
beautiful.
Then we play Leipzig. That would actually be incredible. I'd probably fly to Germany for that. If you want to see the match vlogs return for the end of the Champions League, hit the like button on this video, because I do want to make at least one more trip between now and the end of the season, and the Champions League just is the one, because there's nothing to play for in the Prem. Napoli versus Frankfurt. Napoli have arguably been the best team, both on form and on exhilaration, in Europe this season. They are, I think 2-0 up from the first leg.
2-0 up, yeah.
Frankfurt were down to 10
playing
men.
at home.
I think Napoli are at home now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so Frankfurt is surely unlikely. There's no way they turn this around.
Stick Frankfurt in unlikely. It's not happening.
Yeah, and I want to avoid Napoli personally. I just
100%.
think that they're too good right now.
100%.
And even though we could get excited about, oh, look at what we did against Napoli before, this is a different Napoli.
Team.
All right, they might not have Cavani, Lavezzi
Hamsik
nowadays, but they've got flipping Big Vic up front, mate. That's all you need. And Kvaratskhelia, Is that how you say it?
Hey, you've done a better job pronouncing that than most people. Fair play.
I'm actually so happy that I said it the way I did. I was like, I've got one chance here. So I'm not going to retake because we're on a time schedule today with this shoot. But I think that you've got to want to avoid Napoli right now.
100, yeah.
A final, I'd back us. In a one-off game, yes, but over 2 legs, go into Naples the way that, they got fans back in their stadiums again. They make a load of noise. That is an intimidating place to go.
Yep.
We've seen it before, and I just think this time, with the quality they've got, it'd be too much to overturn.
Yeah, 100%, man. They're in ridiculous form. And you look at that team on paper, and you don't see you don't see a team that's dangerous. You look at City or Real Madrid or someone, you go, whoa. But Napoli, you look at on paper and go, that's fine. And then you play them, and you're like, what in the blue hell are they doing? They're flying, and fair play to them. And I think in terms of where we are right now and what we've gone through, even tactically, I think we'd get completely outmanaged if we were to play Napoli. We still need time in order to try and have some sort of cohesive plan to go up against a Napoli team that are flying on all cylinders. So I would honestly say avoid for now. And then if it comes to it, we play them later, no problem, but we need a bit of time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think everything at the minute in terms of how we can either get excited or look forward to winning the Champions League, because now you're in the quarterfinals, that's the goal. Yeah. You get a favourable draw, and then you're talking about semi-finals, by which point momentum is a totally different ball game that is either with you or against you in the competition. Chelsea, and this is another thing I'm interested to see what Potter does now, because I think the most important thing is continuity. And whether that means you risk playing players who might have high injury risks, but to keep them all playing together to give us the best chance to beat well-organised teams in the Champions League, I would say that Potter needs to risk that kind of level of squad management.
I agree.
Instead of just looking at the Prem thinking, all right, we're 10th, and even if we win 2 in a row, we're probably still going to be 10th. But we've won the Champions League, so should we rest players? No. In my opinion, you use this opportunity now, you see the draw on the 17th, and you go and play your strongest team every single week and just hope that we can manage the injuries in game management. Real Madrid-Liverpool is the final tie that we're going to discuss here. And for me, Napoli, we're talking about a well-organised, well-drilled team that we know what we're going to come up against, and it's going to be bloody tough. Real Madrid are in that same bracket for me, and what they did at Anfield was bloody scary. And for me, that means that Liverpool at the Bernabeu have got no chance of going through. So I think that's unlikely. But Real Madrid, we're avoiding them, aren't we? Hopefully. I don't know. What do you think?
Real Madrid are a weird one. They're a weird one because if you take away the Liverpool game in isolation, right, you throw that on the shelf and you look at Real Madrid and their form in La Liga and how they've been playing overall, they've not been fantastic. But in the Liverpool game, they were basically typical Real Madrid, just rocking up and playing at such an elite world-class level, you can't stop them. So they're a hard one to judge. Liverpool have not just a mountain to climb, they've got an Everest with an Everest on top to climb. It's not going to happen. To score 3 at the Bernabeu, it's not for everyone. We had that challenge, and we came close.
We did it.
We did it, and then
we technically scored 4 because I don't think that goal should have been disallowed. I think, what was it, Werner's goal or Alonso's goal? One of those two shouldn't have been disallowed.
Alonso's, yeah.
See, we could have been talking about Champions League semi-finals again last year. I think we actually go ahead and win this,
Honestly.
Like, call me stupid, or call me David, or call me, I don't know, someone else's name. But I genuinely think now that it's done. You might as well just ruin the competition. Don't play the rest of the games because Graham Potter's doing this. He's won it.
Flights to Istanbul then? Are we doing this?
Bro, I'm down. I'm down. If anybody wants to, get in touch with any airlines for Eunice and I, we would make a banging video if Chelsea make it to the final. Let's keep an eye on that though, for sure.
100%.
I think the dream draw, we've got a couple of teams there in that dream category. Give me your dream quarter-final draw right now. I'm going to say my dream is AC Milan again because we've already beaten them twice this season. What would be your number one?
I mean, on paper, depends if they make it, but if we get Porto, I'm very, very, very happy. Same goes for Inter, and I would say same goes for either Spurs or AC Milan, whoever, for either one of them.
I say bring them all on. The one I don't want is Napoli. That's my number one.
And for now,
do
I would
not
say
want to
Real
touch
Madrid
it.
as well. Avoid just in case.
Yeah, you can never be too confident against Real Madrid. No. But all right, that is a comprehensive look at Chelsea's potential last 8 opponents. The draw is on the 17th of March. We have still got multiple teams here that we have gone through today that will be out of the competition, that won't even be in the reckoning come the draw next Friday, or a week on Friday. So if you are not yet subscribed to Eunice's channel, link in the description, and we'll be posting another collab video over on Eunice's channel tomorrow, and this is the 3rd week of a 4-week experiment. So if you want more and more of these videos, that we're just going to have to make another channel, I think, mate.
I think so, yeah. At this rate,
yeah.
Let's just get everyone to
Otherwise
migrate.
People are going to be so tired of each other, aren't they? We're all going to be like, can you guys just get a flipping room?
We might have to.
That's how YouTube
get
goes.
a new channel.
You might have to get a new channel. That's the same as getting a room. So let us know if you like it. I'm buzzing. We're into the quarterfinals. Come on, you Blues.